Hi everybody, welcome to Leslie Ray's Crafty Gig. We're in September, and September brings me lots and lots of Halloween and fall scrapping and crafting, and I love to scrap and craft fall and Halloween. I have a bunch of projects that are coming up for both Viva Las Vegastamps and for my own blog, and I thought, well, what fun to kind of share with you some of the things I like to do for bases of my projects, and then we'll go ahead and complete one of them. I want to go ahead and make a set of ATCs, not necessarily for my blog for the upcoming things, but because I'm addicted to ATCs right now. If you've been following my blog at all, you know I'm addicted to ATCs. It happens. If you're not addicted, maybe you will be when we're done. I don't know. Recently, one of the things I did was talk about how many stamps there are available through Viva Las Vegas and Viva Las Vegastamps, and there's over 19,000. That's a whole lot of stamps. And, you know, you can celebrate such things as National Sewing Month with your very own You're So Special ATC. Isn't that great? Or you can celebrate Elephant Appreciation Day with your very own steampunk elephant ATC. And, you know, this was created by Mary Vogel-Losnack, so, you know, love her art. Hi, Threads. And then, you know, or you can celebrate International Talk Like a Pirate Day with your 15 men on a dead man's chest, yo-ho-ho, and a bottle of rum. I love this one, too. This is one of my favorites. Or you can celebrate the paperclip. No, that's not paperclip. The safety pin being invented. How fun is that? Okay, so, yeah. I'm crazy that way. I like celebrations. And that's why I love all the selection that we have. Like I was saying earlier, most of the stamps that I'm playing with tonight are not in the most recent pre-order. There's a pre-order on right now that there's a whole bunch of really cool plates. This was in the pre-order before that. And this is a stamp called Poe. You can't really see it, but it's got the words from the Raven, and it's got a raven, and so there's all kinds of cool stuff. And so I want to play with those and get some backgrounds for some more ATCs started. And then the other set that I love are all these swirls. And the plate comes with a whole bunch of different ones on it. I think these are cool. I'm a swirly kind of girl. So I'm going to pull out a couple of swirls to play with. And then for my Halloween stuff, I want to do one with my skull and crossbones. That's a wicked cool skull and crossbones. Yeah, the raven one is very cool. And look, there's lots of ravens to go with the raven. Here's a giant raven right here. And then there's a whole bunch of different ones, smaller in size. And let's see. I think I'm going to do the 31. There's a 31 in that. Another one of the swirls that I love. I think I want this iron fence because it's kind of fun. I'm looking for things while I'm picking these out, and these are bats. I mistakenly called these birds the other day, and I was corrected. I'm looking for things that will make an interesting Mod Podge of stuff. I love the moon. You've seen me use the moon before, but this would make a better front piece than a background piece. And then we've got some that are pieces from a cemetery, again, that would make a better front piece than a background piece. What am I using to stick my unmounteds down? I have them mounted on cling foam. And cling foam comes in 2 different widths. Well, it probably comes in more than 2, but I have it in 2. I have some that is this black width that is kind of skinnier. You can see it's not much wider than a piece of fun foam. And it's got the cling adhesive. You can see the shine on that. That is on the back of it. And so this is just a shiny surface that that comes, I think, probably by the same people who make the cling foam. And right now, on the top of my head, I can't remember what it's called. Maybe Mommy will come in a minute or two. I think it's in her store. But this is just plain old. It's got a slick surface to it, okay? And then here's the gray. The gray is a little bit thicker. Excuse me, my hair. Apparently I'm going bald right now. The gray is a little bit thicker, and this is probably my preferred thickness. But I just mount them on there, trim around them. They're ready to go. The other thing is there are plastic sheets that are a little bit, not real super thick, not like plexiglass thick, but a little bit thinner. And I'm going to be, because I have so many of them, of the stamps, I'm going to be putting them on that and putting them inside sheet protectors is what I'm going to be doing with my future stamps. Because buying a package of these is kind of pricey. And I would rather spend more money on stamps than on these little white things. So the clear sheets are a lot less expensive. And like I said, if Mom comes in a minute, she can give us a price on clear sheets. But thank you for asking. I appreciate that. What I'm starting on is a white surface, and hopefully we'll get our focus back in a minute. And what I'm going to start with stamping is I want to start with stamping with some Versamark onto my white surface and getting some embossed powder on here. And I want to start with the swirls in the background because I like swirls in my background. I'm just going to take a large block and put my swirls on. And I'm just going to stack them on here however I want them. I don't have a rhyme or reason to it. The one that goes off the edge, I'll probably put on the edge. And just load up my block. This is why I like having a couple of larger blocks, is because you can load them up with your stamps. I want that one to go that way. And then you're ready to go. You can just stamp away and it's already loaded. So, and I need a piece of just plain paper to make sure this is going to stamp properly for me. And even though my Versamark pad is in sad shape, it still is going to give me a good inking. It's still going to ink pretty clear, except for the one that I probably stamped in other colors. So, but I want to make sure everybody's stamping okay. And yes, I can tell, I can see it right here. I'll pull it up so you can see. You can see how they're stamping. They're stamping good. So, stamping with the Versamark onto my white cardstock will be great. You can use, to do this technique, you can use 2 different kinds of surfaces. You can either use a high gloss surface, like a chrome coat or a super shiny glossy thing, or you can use regular white cardstock. I'm using just regular white cardstock. And I'm going to randomly stamp this all around. And I'm going to do all of my stamping at once. Sorry, guys. If my camera will bear with me while I stamp on white, I apologize. I promise we won't be stamping on white all night. Now, if you use a glossy cardstock, test it first to see how much give your cardstock is going to allow you to do. Some of them you need to dry it in between, or you're going to get just a big old smear of palooza going on. If that's the look you're going for, super. Sometimes that is the look I'm going for. Sometimes it's not. So keep that in mind when you start doing your stuff. But sometimes with stuff like that, when it's real smeary, if you go ahead and heat set it, it will solve your problem. Okay? So now I have some here in the middle that I want to stamp in. I'm just going to get this finished instead of trying to explain it, and then I'll show you. I took the piece off that was had an edge to it so that I can stamp in here and not have to worry about that piece hitting or running into my other swirls. I have one last one I want to stamp, and then I promise you'll be able to see me again. Sorry, guys. Okay. Come down. Come down. There we go. Now, what I'm going to use to do my heat embossing is the ultra high gloss. I'm sorry. Yeah, ultra high gloss emboss enamel from stampo.com. And my heat tool. So, does anybody have any questions? The neat thing about Versamark is you have quite the play time with it. You could do this also likewise with something like what do you call it? Oh, a lighter color emboss powder, or not emboss powder, but a lighter color ink. If you wanted to use a lighter color ink, it's still going to show underneath, of course, obviously. But using Versamark, it's not going to. Now, the next thing I want to do is when I'm looking at this, I saw a couple of places where it's not as crisp as I want it. And I can take my brush. Let's see if I can get a brush to focus on. And I can come down to the paper, and where I don't like how the thing came out, I can brush it off. And I can either come back in and redo it, or I can let it go. So some of these, where the stamp kind of stamped funny, or I don't like how it swirled, I'm going to brush, because to me it's going to matter in this design. Because this is my bottom layer, and I'm going to stamp on top of this with other stuff. So. Hi, Mommy. People had some questions about the sheet protectors and the cling film. If you have that information, they would probably appreciate you sharing that with them. Like how much they cost. And then I told them also I was going to be, in the future, not using those white cling film sheets, but instead using a clear acrylic, the lighter weight of clear acrylic. And so if you want to share with them that information. Hi, Jen. This embossing powder is really good on the fine details. I like how it looks. No sound? Uh-oh. Somebody talk to Mommy. Tell her what we're looking for in the chat. Ask her to offer a price on the cling film and the mounts, or the whiteboard that I have it mounted to. And then Oscar also for a price on the thin acrylic sheets. And then someone might want to mention to her that she could watch her Ustream on her phone if her phone is cooperating. And then she could hear it at least. Nothing else. Mom had a computer wipeout. Good grief. I guess this is going to be the Incredible Fuzzy show. Everything I'm touching today seems to be fuzzed out, doesn't it? Now, with your embossing powder, you want to be sure not to overheat it, and you can do that. And by overheating it, what you end up doing is melting it completely all the way out. Thanks, Amanda. I can appreciate this because oftentimes when I'm at work, I can't have the sound turned up, and I don't have a pair of headphones at work to be able to hear. So so now that I have this done, what I want to do is use some little foam sponges that I have, little foam makeup sponges like this. I'm going to start layering colors. And the colors I've chosen to layer are in the line of Distress Inks. And I'm using the different yellows and oranges here. I'm using a scattered straw, dried marigold, and spiced marmalade. And I want to start light and build up. And I'm going to just target some spaces. I want to put a piece of cardstock under here. This is my piece of cardstock that I'm just kind of playing with. I'm going to target some areas. I'm not trying to cover the whole thing in one color. Okay. And I'm coming at it in a swirly motion to kind of try to combat having too many spots that look like I went and stuck it down. That is a look if you want that look, but I'm I prefer to have kind of more of a swirled in look. And the swirls that I put underneath are creating a resist, as you can see. So does anybody have any questions? I'm making a background page similar to what I did for the Viva Las Vegas blog hop with Mary Bogle-Losnack to make some cards with. I'm going to cut this up into ATCs. So, is everybody having a nice fall so far? Fall officially starts next weekend. I will be having a very fall steampunk blog hop. I hope everybody can join us. I'll set up an event this weekend so you can find it on my email or on my Facebook fan page and stuff. You'll be going, well, you can still go blogging, hopping through the blogs. Once I create the link for that, Raven, it stays good. It doesn't expire. It goes directly to their pages, so you don't have to scroll or to their, it goes directly to their actual hot link, so you don't have to go scrolling through it. So it'll be a good thing. Now I'm going to come in with some marigold. And I'm going to go ahead just for today. I'm going to change things because I may want to come back. And this dried marigold is a nice color. I like it. And you see I'm going back over some of the yellow too, because I like the look there of those blending in. The Easy Mount foam sells for $5 a sheet. And the panels are $7 for 5. So those white panels that I had them on are what are $6.99 for 5 of them. Which I guess isn't too bad, but if you don't have a whole lot of stamps. But being on the design team and then just, you know, in general, I have a whole lot. Thin acrylic is $1.20. So you'd save like $1, you know. A tequila sunrise. What I'm using the acrylic for is instead of using, instead of buying the white sheets, I'm using the clear acrylic. And I can put that in a sheet protector and have it in my notebook instead of, and also it helps keep the stamps on there better instead of them being loose, because there's not a sheet protector to go on those white panels. And so I'll have a sheet protector, and that will, in case for whatever reason my stamp becomes dislodged from its sheet that it's on, it will stay in the sheet protector. Well, happy birthday early, Joe. Well, that good idea goes to Mommy. She thought of it first. She said she was thinking, and then she thought, I wonder, and she stuck it to one of those, and she's like, hey, this is a good idea. So that is Mommy's good idea. And I am going to use it. Because I don't know if you noticed, I have several in my collection that have not made it onto a sheet protector yet. So I need for them to. I am making background for some ATCs, Mommy. And right now they're looking kind of candy cornish colored. Did you notice that, Amanda? Amanda likes candy corns. She's thinking that the candy corn Oreos sound pretty good. I'm thinking I'm not that adventurous. So. Did Mommy need someone to still translate for her? ATC background, Amanda. Thank you. I didn't know I was going to have a hearing impaired audience, or I would have prepared signs. Because having been the hearing impaired audience before, I like signs. Mom says she likes using acrylic sheets because she can put little stamps in a 5x7 notebook, which is an excellent idea. Because you can even buy 5x7 sheet protectors as well. So, I've been heavily touching one of the 5x7 notebooks at Staples. I recently got some Staples rewards. I may go bring it home with me. I may go adopt one. go adopt a 5x7 notebook. Everybody should adopt an office supply if they can. Just the binder ones? What do you mean, Amanda? I need more words. I'm going to put my sheet protectors that have my acrylic pages with my stamps in them into a notebook. And Mommy was saying she likes the little 5x7 ones for the little stamps. Because sometimes you have big stamps and then you have little stamps. Well, she wants to put them on little pages and put them in there instead of having them all hanging out with the big pages. A whole bunch of little sponge holders. Cool. I have the Tim Holtz tool, and I use it more for my alcohol inks than I do for this kind of thing. For this, I usually just grab a makeup sponge. And I used to have friends when I first started that after they used this makeup sponge, and keep in mind, you get like 100 or more for $1, okay? She would wash them out. I'd be like, why don't you just throw those bad boys away? You know, buy another one. Another package. But, oh well. With the, we're having a hop coming up in the end of October. And with that hop, I will share about storing the stamps on those acrylic sheets and take some pictures. If that will be helpful. I really like how this is coming out, guys. I don't know about the rest of you, but I like this one. I think this would look awesome with like some Concord grape and some of the peeled paint. I think those together would look really cool on a page too. And then add in a little bit of orange with that, just to have. Okay. Thanks, Jen. And now I'm gonna keep using the orange one I was using and come in with the spice marmalade, which is a nice dark orange. And then we'll be ready for the next part. This is a plate of swirls from Viva Las Vegastamps. I'm sorry I don't have that plate memorized. Some of them are used in my recent post on the background of my my safety pin stamp. You should be able to see get the plate number from that if somebody wanted to go to my blog post on the Viva Las blog post stamp. I am talking louder for the hard of hearing. But if you look on my vivalas.blogspot.com post, you'll see the swirl that is by this stamp. You can see that squirrel in the background. Swirl, not squirrel. And there'll be a plate number with that. And you can find the plate that has all of the swirls on it. And now I'm thinking, note to self. Next time you feature these stamps, write the plate numbers down. Sorry, guys. I know. Well, see, I needed that plate because I'm in the process of replacing my favorite stamps in acrylic and getting rid of my acrylic stamps. And so that was my reasoning behind needing that plate of stamps. Is I was getting rid of my acrylic swirly stamps, which were my very favorite on the planet. You know how I like my swirls. And so I needed something to replace it with, and that plate was sitting there, and it said, you know, I would make a good replacement. And I said, you know what? I think you're right. Because we talk to ourselves that way, my stamps and I. So, okay, so here's the first layer. First layer. We have white, we have marmalade, we have marigold, we have some straw. Now, I want to go in with the next layer. And I want to stamp some bats and some of these and some of these guys. So I'm putting my swirls away. And I want to be a little more targeted this time, so I'm going to use my smaller thing. And I may use some of him. Maybe. Might use some of that. I don't know yet. Okay. So let's start with this one. And I'm going to go back at it with the Versamark. We're getting layers. Guardians have layers. ATC cards have layers. And ogres have layers. in case you weren't aware. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. I know I just stamped that, but hang on. I almost forgot. Because this is Distress ink, I need to go ahead and heat set this, guys. Distress ink has a little bit of a lag time in its drying. If I were to stamp a bunch of stuff on here and then start throwing embossing powder over it, it would be very lovely and stuff would stick to the last layer of color. So that's why I want to just stop real quick and kind of heat set the color so that it doesn't pick up my next layer of embossing powder, okay? And I almost forgot that. Yeah, that you gotta. I did this technique with some different stamps this spring, and the first time I forgot to have to heat set my Distress ink for just a minute. Otherwise, like you said, you'll be wiping off a lot of excess. It's just the nature of Distress ink. It has quite the time that you can jack with it, so it stays wet longer than most dye inks. So yeah, so just throw in stuff. Say, hey, I'll listen. Okay. Now let's stamp. Are we ready now? I'm ready now. I know, that's why they blend so well. You have extra time. Well, like I've talked about before, they were made to be unstable. They were designed that way with a purpose. And that's why we like them. But sometimes we don't want them to be that unstable. So, okay, got that on there, and I'm going to go ahead and change stamps and keep stamping. I want my skulls and crossbones on there. I think these are such cool stamps. I bought my skull and crossbones to go with my pirate stuff, but he is perfect for Halloween as well. He's a very cool skull and crossbone guy. And I'm kind of trying to stamp him in places where I have a an opening, kind of, right in there. And I think over here on the edge. Okay. And then I think I will go in with some of my words in just a few places. Thanks, Mommy. Have a good night. Do some there. This stamp is 1776. There are tons and tons of stamps in Viva Las Vegas with scripts and stuff on them. I like the size of this one. There. Okay. So now I'm going to grab this to do my emboss powder on. Well, I'm glad you feel better tonight, Joe. Ah. That looks good. Can you see where it's picked up some of those? Okay. I hate having sinus crud. I've been suffering with it all week. I feel a little better today than I did yesterday. Yesterday I was yuck, and the day before wasn't much better. So now I'm heat setting my Jolly Rogers and my iron fence. And some words. And I'm kind of moving fast over the places that have already been heat set with already melted embossing powder, because I don't want to overheat those areas, because they really will melt the embossing powder out and there won't be any more left there. It'll just be a white spot. Kind of think of it as like if you took a piece of newspaper over a piece of carpet where you've spilled wax and you heat it with the iron and it draws the wax up out of the carpet. Think of it in that kind of way. It's going to pull that or just completely melt away your embossing powder, and there won't be any more left on the page if you heat too much in one area. I had nothing else in that corner. I thought I did. Now there are some areas on here where the heat or the embossing powder stuck to the paper anyway, and that's okay, because that's going to give it kind of an interesting little granular element right there, and I like that in this technique. So you can kind of get a remnants of stuff underneath. But I think I've got everybody now. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. There are some places, like right here, around this swirl, you can see the new stuff here and the old stuff, and then there's some like residue. You can see it between those swirls right there, kind of a residue. So, hi Cheryl, come on in, join us. Now I'm going to take my frayed burlap, because that is probably my favoriteest one. I've almost worn this pad out. See all the fraying? Seeing the fraying on the frayed burlap. And I don't want to get too carried away adding color, but I want where I embossed on top with another stamp, I want that to kind of pop out. So So like here, trying to make my skull pop out a little better. See, isn't he cool? Does anybody have any questions to this point? I think this would look really pretty with like leaves, like some solid leaves and some more skeletal looking leaves. I think that would be really pretty. Do Thanksgiving cards with the same kind of colors. Maybe add a little green in there. This is my favorite part because it's like a hidden message, you know. Wouldn't that be fun to send clear embossed stamped images to people and have them rub them out so they can see what the message is from their friends? Have little hidden messages going everywhere. So you get like this little white piece of paper with shiny stuff on it. You wouldn't have any idea what it said until you rubbed it out with a color over it. Okay, I'm really loving this. I hope y'all are too, because I really love it. You could definitely go over this with darker colors. I just like the softness of the frayed burlap. I think it keeps it in the ability to have something stepped on top of it, you know. If you went darker, you would have to stamp an image and then cut and paste, whereas we'll be able to melt out the stuff and just have images and be able to stamp on it. So, alright. So this is what we're talking about. You can see the orange underneath. I think it looks really cool with the words under there. Okay. Now, I want to, before I heat it again, I want to wipe it. Here's my paper towels. I'm going to wipe it with a paper towel to kind of get the ink off of the embossing powder. See, it's coming off. Now, you could spray this if you wanted more of an effect of the you know, typical embossed powder where it's all kind of melted together. You could stamp it, or not stamp it, but mist it so it kind of smudged together and made a more blended look. I like this sponged on effect myself. And depending upon the ink you used, this next part you wouldn't have to do. But I want to, now that I've got this how I like it, I want to melt my embossing powder back off. Because then I will be able to build more layers of embossing powder on top of it when it's an ATC. Does that make sense to everybody? And so what I'm doing is now I'm purposefully heating my embossing powder till it melts. And you can get carried away and singe your paper, okay? And if you see smoke coming up, kind of back off. You know, keep going at it, because that's what you're trying to do, is melt it back off. You could, at this point, you could iron it if you have a craft iron. You could do that too. I'm not going to do the whole page. I think that will take too long, but I'm going to do part of the page so that we can craft with it. But like right here in this corner, you can already see, compared to him, you can already see that it's gone. Were y'all able to see that? Does anybody have any questions about what I'm doing right now? If you have any questions, feel free to just type them in the chat. And if you don't have any questions, feel free to type that too. Thanks, Jen. I almost only about half of this page here. So I'm going to cut this off and we're going to craft on this one. Get this other little skeleton guy finished. And see here where I was talking about it had some remnants of the powder. I like how that looks. I think it looks cool there. If I had not wiped off the ink like I did, any ink that was left would be baked into this process and would end up on the page. So that's why I pulled that off. And I don't have all of the ink off of here by any scope of the imagination. If it's in my way when I start to craft, I can go ahead and heat it again to get it off of there. Or not ink, emboss powder. I'll go ahead and cut some. Let's see what they look like. I cut these ATC size, but I think I'm going to cut some just 2.5 wide and then 3.5 and 3.5 that way. And then cut some 3.5 wide and then the 2.5s across. You can get several ATCs out of an 8.5 by 11. See, this is still shiny. I'll work with it later. And but 2.5 by 3.5 is a good size, a standard size for ATCs. And then your little bits that you have like this, save those for other embellishments, okay? This one, I want him, definitely. So see, I have this is the card. Isn't that cool looking? And then I want this one too. So here he is a little higher up. On this one I need to heat some more of that white a little bit. So already we've got 5 cards here. And we could do probably another at least 4 or so on that other one. That other piece of paper that we still have. I'm going to heat right there because I want that melted out a little bit more. And why this is going to matter is because I'm going to edge these with some ink. And when I edge that, obviously the white is going to pop right there. So I don't want that there. So, baking it right off. Cool, huh? That one's great. This one has some spots in it. How many people have done ATCs before? Hi, Jim. Night, Amanda. Have fun at camp. You've never done an ATC, Cheryl? Think of them as little pieces of artwork. They're so much fun. And I guess that's what I like about them is they're just fun to make and just give. They're never intended to be sold. That was not the purpose of them. They're intended to be gifted and traded. Yeah, this would definitely make great embellishments for card fronts or embellishments or, you know, little interesting pieces for your scrapbook. You can make some deco squares with them or anything like that. I'm going to finish melting out this one right here. So I want to use it. And if you had a particular paper set and you wanted to match, you know, get the inks to match it, this would be excellent to do with companies like Close to My Heart and Stampin' Up! That have inks and papers to match. You could use some of their, you know, specific inks and or even with Prima. As I told you, on Prima, on the bottoms of their papers, they have little colors, little dots of color, and those are the colors to match up your paper with their chalk inks. You could do the same thing. It'd be great. Okay, so here are my things. This one, I left a little bit here, so you'll be able to see that resist too. Okay, I love them. I love these. These are great. I want to start with, I think, this one. And I know I want to use the bats. And I want to use this. This is a tree background. Let me stamp it for you so you can kind of see where I'm going with this. I have a darker brown. Thought I had darker brown up here. I can use the burlap. See if I can put this on my thing a little straighter. This is a tree, and I'm not going to have to use the whole tree because my card's not that big. But you can see it makes that neat texture. So it's about textures for me. And even though, and the reason I can tell this is upside down is because I can read the 1776 or 1787 right there. I'm using this upside down, so we'll just deal with it. Okay. I want it upside down because I want the words over here and I want the swirls over here. And at this point, you don't have to keep using distressed inks. I'm using these because these are on my table. I could very well get out chalk inks or any other kind of something that I wanted to use. But I do want something darker because that's not showing up like I want it to. Got the walnut on the other end. Let me grab my cutting pad. Cutting pad will give me a little more something to stamp on. Okay, there we go. There we go. This will be darker. Grabbing my walnut ink. I want it to be just a smidge darker. Now you can kind of see where I stamped it with the walnut ink. If I wanted to, I could hit it with some embossed powder, but I want that kind of brushed look there underneath. And then I think I want to grab, let's see, some black. I'm using my archival ink. I'm going to go over the top of this with that. So you can see that a little better. Gives a little better image there. And now I want to use my little birds. These aren't birds, sorry. Use my bats. I apologize. They're bats. They're looking very batty today. I'm going to stamp them off the page too. So you see them being bat-like. And then now all this will need is either another foreground image, which I think I want to stamp in black, my wrought iron fence. There we go. And a saying. I mean, we can put any kind of saying. It really doesn't even have to have a saying if you don't want it to. You can just let it go as the image itself. You can create little mixed media pieces on these, Cheryl, with paint and all kinds of other fun stuff. See, here it is with this. Now, if you wanted to, you could take a little button or a die cut of a pumpkin and put outside it, or you don't have to. You could put All Hallows Eve on there. You could put boot on there. You could put things that go bump in the night. I'm kind of liking it almost like this. I want to go around the edges and darken the edges just a little bit. And I use my brown. I'll stick it in my black a little bit and kind of go around the edge. Give it a soft edge look. Now, like I said, you could be finished. You could be done. or you can build up extra stuff, whatever you want to do there. So, I really like the bats. Yeah, I like the fence too. The tree stamp, that one is just tree branch stuff. I was getting a good impression with the Distress ink, and I wanted kind of more depth, because if I just stamped that on there black, it would have just been really stark. I wanted the warmness of the brown underneath it, so that it has a little more depth. So, I mean, that's why I went with 2 layers. The first brown was too light. That's why I went with a little bit darker brown and then stamped it. So, that one's kind of cool. I'm kind of liking that one. Now, you can put different stuff on the back, and you can see here on the back where I melted that back out. Probably what I will do is do like I did for a swap that I did, where I went in and I printed me a label to go on the back that says what I call this series of cards that I will do. I like to do them in series. And on the back it will have, you know, series number 1 of 2, or 1 of 3, or 1 of 4. Or whatever, 2 of 2, 2 of 3, 2 of 4, whatever it is. Have my name, have the supplies I used, that kind of stuff. Usually mine has a little QR code that you could scan, and it goes to my links and stuff. So, I haven't labeled all the backs of mine, or I would show you. I may show you one. I'll show you one that I just got back of mine. Okay, let's do another one. Y'all ready to do another one? I'm going to do this one that's called Poe, and it's got words down the side. I'll stick it on here. So I'm only going to have to ink up part of it. And this one I'm going to go ahead and ink up with the black, because I want the letters to come out good. Let's see. There's the bird. Okay. And so I want to make sure that the bird is in my image. So I'm going to stick him right there. Yes, nevermore. Okay, and because of the surface on there, he's kind of gone, but don't you fear. I have a bird we can stick there. But I want to rough up this edge a little more. Because of the style of the stamp. And you can see on there the words. Isn't that cool? Such a cool stamp. Love that. Okay, let me get my bird out. I didn't get my bird out earlier. I'll get my bird out. He may be over here on the other bird page. Okay. I have 2 sizes of birds. Let's see. And also, I have the word nevermore. So, I could stamp nevermore up there, which I think I will. And I never have stamped nevermore, so I would like to stamp it first. before I stamp it here. Cool. Okay, I'll go with the smallish bird. Or I'll go with the largest bird.
Turn around.
I'm going to go with the largest bird.
Hi.
I like the largest bird and the largest tree. And I want my fence again. I like that fence. You don't have to buy these as plates. You can buy them individually. Just look under the recent releases. And you'll see them there. That one's very cool. I like my Poe one. And my birdie. Any questions? Or nevermore? Thanks, Threads. The Raven one I should send to you. Nevermore, nevermore. I might do that, Raven. Raven needs a Raven. How many people are left in the room? I show 6. And we could add Amanda, because Amanda was here. I could send y'all ATCs. Wouldn't that be fun? Would y'all like that? Your own little piece of art for the holiday? We have to make another Raven one. Does anybody else feel the need to make another Raven one? I need another Raven one. I was around 11 when we started. Well, I may be around 11 or so. Let's see. Let's do another Raven one on this one where there's not a skull showing. I think that would be fun, Jen. And then maybe people who have never done ATCs. All God's children need a Raven. That is too funny. That is very funny. I like that. Yes, all God's children need a Raven. Well, stick around and I'll stick my email in the thing, and y'all can email me your addresses and I'll send you some ATCs. Does that sound like a plan, guys? Bob Dylan just scared you. I wish I had recorded Will as a kid. He used to sing, or want to sing, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer every night. It didn't matter if it was Christmas or not. He wanted to sing it. Only he wouldn't sing in the normal tone. It sounded like Bob Dylan singing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. It was hilarious. So, So we have two Nevermores.
Meow.
Let's see. This one might need something. I forgot I had words over here. Y'all should remind me. Hey, woman, you have words. Let's see. We have about Witching Hour. That one would be cool. Witching Hour for that one. And then we need the Graveyard off this sheet. Okay. Okay, Witching Hour. This one needs words. It just does. And let me know if you're, like, opposed to something like the words Witching Hour being on there. I will try to accommodate if that offends thee. There we go. But it says the Witching Hour so nicely. Okay. Let's do a Graveyard one. That would be fun. Especially with the skull and crossbones. Let's see. We need a little bit of tree. We don't need that whole thing. Not much offends you. Me either, but, you know, I'm sensitive to the fact that some people... I mean, I guess you wouldn't be here if crafting Halloween bothered you, but some people, it does, you know, it does bug them, and I'm sensitive to that. I'm a sensitive soul. And, so if that would offend you, I would definitely, you know, take that into consideration before I sent you something. It's all good and fun in art. I did this one kind of backwards because I wanted the majority over this on this side, so I stamped this side first instead of it like this. I stamped it over here and then back. And then I still want the gate over that because I think the gate would look cool with that. There's a new stamp that I really, really want that my friend Sandra drew. That's a lane with pumpkins in a row going down the lane. Is so cool. And I want that. And that would be cool on this. So see, we have those. We need to go around the edge again. This one I want no, I want darker. You know, I'm the girl that likes to pick up the black and grunge it up. I need to find... Joe's not here anymore. She wasn't feeling good. I need to find Joe. Make sure I get Joe a card. We don't have a Friday the 13th coming up this month, do we? This is the 14th. I guess we don't have a Friday the 13th because this is Friday the 14th. Right? Another Witching Hour. I like the way that looks almost, even though it's the skull and crossbones, it looks like the moon right there. I like that. Yes, you can do them in any direction, but I like them up and down. And then this one I want a little artsier. I'm going to take this. I need to stamp this first before I get carried away. I need a piece of paper. I like to do this technique with a piece of paper rather than a piece of cardstock, because the cardstock will give more of a height, and I don't want it to give that much height. But isn't this a gorgeous skull? Isn't that neat? How pretty he is. And it's okay that this cuts off because I'm going to only use about that much of him. So I'm going to trim pretty close, but not completely close around him. Yes, he's a very piratey one. That's what I actually got him for, Jim, was for my pirate stuff that I've been doing a lot of. I have a very cool ship and pirate, and several cool map backgrounds. They have lots of pirate stamps. I'm going to use this for a mask. For this one. I think I want to go a little further over. I wasn't sure how far over I was going to go. So as you guys know, or some of you know, I don't have normal TV. So if I want to watch something, it has to appear on the internet, or I go to a friend's house or whatever, because I turned off my regular cable. I have Netflix and whatnot. We hardly watch TV during the week, so it wasn't worth keeping that on. But I do like to go and find things, you know, like my husband likes The Walking Dead, and I like different things. Well, two of the shows that I've been waiting all summer to come back on, I went looking for. They're not coming back on. They're just not. They're not going to produce those anymore. I was sad. Very sad. So, I'll just have to go with the one season. Although some other ones, they are coming back out. But I can't wait. But anyway, okay. I'm going to stamp him kind of halfway on. Right there. Okay. And I'm going to use this as my mask. And what I'm going to do to kind of hold him on there is use just a little, just barely a piece of tape runner. Just a smidge. Like, I think there's 3 little lines here. Maybe 2. Okay? That much tape runner. I'm going to line him up. There. He's lined up. Okay? Now, I'm going to take this stamp and this, ink him up. And I'm going to stamp first at the top.
Then at the bottom.
Okay. So see, it goes over all that. Okay. And then I'm going to stamp below him this. And again, I'm putting this side of it over here first. And then coming back here across the bottom like that. So that when I take this back off, it hasn't stamped through his skull as of yet, right? I want my bats. I want them flying up here. And a little bit more. Let's see. I need a piece of paper. A little bit more up here. Added more bats. Now I want to edge this, and then I want my 31. I had a 31. What do we do with the 31? Here's the 31. The 31 right there. Hi, Carrie. Which ones was I looking for, Raven? I was enjoying watching GCB. That was very funny. And I was enjoying watching Missing. That was also very interesting to watch. And both of those have been canceled. Okay, I think this one's my favorite one, guys. You can use Post-it notes to mask, Jim, but I have a friend in my house that likes Post-it notes and takes off with them. Now, if I wanted to, I could get my white Prismacolor pencil and go over this and just touch that up also. I really like this one. Any thoughts? There's that one. There's this one. And the Nevermore. I know several of you like the Nevermore. But honestly, I think this one's my favorite one. So, yeah, I like it without the extra white in there. I like it the way it is. So what do y'all think? You like them all? So, these are very fun. Like I said, these are using the 2 and mainly the 1, I think, of the new release, or released in September. Look on the released in September. And that's where you can find most of those. And this one is like script 1887 or something like that. That's what that one is. And then the swirls, of course. So, you like the second one? You're partial to Raven. So, shall we do one more? I think we should do one more. Let me cut one more. We have a little bit of time to do one more. Let's do one more, and then I'll pop my email up there, and those of you who came, and I can think of at least 2 people who left, they can have a card. I should have enough. If not, I'll make some more because I'm enjoying doing them. This one I still have to burn this out. So and then maybe Cheryl will feel inspired to make her own ATCs and trade back with me. You don't have to trade back. That's not why I'm doing this. You can just have one and be happy and go on. But if you want to trade back, I will be very pleased to trade back with. Let's see. I'll put that envelope over here. Oh, it's right here. Here we go. Okay, I'll let you look at this while I burn this out. This one was for a steampunk swap. And it says, on the stamp, it says, map out a course of action and follow it to the end. And it's on book paper. And it's embossed. And then on the back, I put that, where I've named it, signed it, numbered it, told you what's all in it. That's what I like to do for the backs of mine. I have some where you can handwrite all that, and then especially if I'm doing a swap, I'll put on there specifics, and so I don't have to handwrite all that, but you can tell that one was embossed, I think. So and who knows? No, this is just cardstock, and this is a ProboCraft folder that's gears and stuff. And then this this is old book paper that I pulled out of there and stamped, and then did a resist technique with some mica powder and the Versamark with that stamp there. Yeah, it's a long skinny one. It can go down the whole side of a page, or like one of those long 12-inch strips. It's that long. So yeah, just old book paper. I have I rip up old books because, you know, they need them. Yes, I have that one too, but this one is long and skinny. This one is not Tim's. It's not long and skinny like Tim's. Tim's is just a regular size. This is a long skinny one. Unless he's gotten a long skinny one since then. But this one was specifically ProboCraft, because I have one that's like 5x7 that's ProboCraft, and I have one that's a long one. And I have Tim's gears. So, of course, I would pick the piece that has the most embossing powder on it, wouldn't I? I really like the way the words look with this technique after it's melted out. I think they look really pretty. And if you didn't want the stark white to be on there, you could have come with an underneath color and done it. I'll keep asking about my folder. It's this one. See? No folder. I have not seen the mirror paper yet, Jim. Is it really cool? I have some silver paper from Mommy's store that's so shiny that it could be a mirror. Okay. I want to do another one like the skeleton guy. So hopefully I didn't lose my mat. My mask, not my mat. Let's see. I want that. I want that. Put these on top of my printer. Or I may have lost my mouse. There's that. Is he stuck? Huh. Oh, there he is. Okay. There we go. It's bad news when you lose your mask. Okay. Stick that right there just so I can remember what I'm doing. And here we go. I want to turn it this way. Let's stick him right here. Yay! I'm glad you got to go to Michael's today. I don't get to go by Michael's that often either. I live far away. Supposedly there's going to be one about 30 minutes away coming sometime in the future. I don't know if that's even remotely opened yet or not. But wondering how the mirror paper would look with gears. I bet it would look very cool. Yeah, that's a nice one. I don't know. That was, my kids bought that for me for Christmas. They got me that one, and they got me the 5x7 one that's also Progocraft. And I like it because instead of going off, I mean, I can make it go off the page, but it has a nice finish here. It doesn't just keep going. It has an actual finish, which I think is cool. And I really like this section in here in the middle with the extra little pulleys and stuff on there. So, now, and see, all of your ATCs, like if you did a whole bunch of them, they could all be the same. You know, I did, how many did I do in that set? I did 8, I believe. And they were all the same technique, all the same look. Or, you know, I'll figure out what I want to call these before I send them out. Because I like to name them. Obviously, the ones that have the raven on them are never more. But let's see. I left that on, so it was all nice and masked. I didn't have to stop and remask it. Love that. Okay, removing my mask. And see, I love that he didn't get all inky. So, needs a little more something right here. There. Love that one. Still think he's my favorite. My favorite look out of all of them. But I like them all. I'm with y'all. I like them all. I like the Nevermore. So I have, what, 2 Nevermores, 2 Witching Hours, 2 31s, and I can make a couple more if we need some more. So, very cool. Okay, hang on. Let me move some of these so I can pull my stuff up for you, and then I'm going to finish off, and then I'll come back and put my email up for you guys that hung with me. So, if nobody else has any questions, my products that I used, except for my rubber stamps, I got all those through my mom's store at cutandpastememories.com, and that's also where the foam, cling foam, and all that kind of stuff, you can get that there, and the acrylic sheets that we were talking about. Next week is Leslie Ray's Scrappy Gig. Same channel. It's at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. And I will be playing with scrapbooking some Halloween photos. I've got Halloween photos of my kids for the last 400 years, and I need to get some pages done. So I'm going to do some scrapbooking of Halloween pictures. And Leslie Ray's Crafty Gig will return on the 4th Friday. And it's every second and fourth Friday of the month, same channel, same time. That's how you can connect with me. If you're not a fan, please be a fan. If you're not following my blog, please do. I try to do a lot of fun stuff on there for you, and I really appreciate it. Don't forget, in just a few short weeks, the Odd Show World Card Making Live is going to be going on. We're going to be doing that in our Google Plus Lounge. And you can also watch it simultaneously on YouTube. And we'll have on the wall, one of us will be watching on the wall. So if you can't get into the actual hangout and you have questions and you put them on the wall, someone will be conveying those to the person demoing so we can get the answers for you as well. So don't forget that that's going on. The dailies are going on as normal, and they will. They are also no longer in the Linktree room, but they're also in the Google Hangout. So please look on our wall, on our Odd Show Live wall, and get all the details there. And we have some guests that we've been having that are way fun. We've been having Maria Navarius has come and done some demoing with us, and will continue to do so. And we have some other guests that will be coming and doing dailies with us. And Reboot next week, I believe, will be Wednesday. Wednesday is just working for me right now. Life with the kids is crazy, 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 and Wednesdays are a good day. So I appreciate you all. Thank you for coming. Hang around, and I will stick my email up there for you so y'all can give me your address, and I'll send you a card. All right? Thank you. Everybody have a great weekend. Thanks, guys.